Now on Denver 7 News at 6, families of the victims of the King Soopers shooting are still waiting for justice nearly 2 years later. We're going in depth on what's keeping the suspect from going to trial and the new lawsuit going after the maker of the gun he used.
I'm getting you ready for a big change in the forecast. It's a Denver 7 weather action day. What you can expect from the winter storm moving in tonight, coming up.
A Denver man paid to park in a lot downtown and still got a ticket?
The whole thing was pretty slippery.
And he's not alone. Contact Denver 7 is getting answers for you from the city.
A sign summer is coming. Organizers for Taste of Fort Collins announced the musical acts headlining the two-day festival.
Including a band from my youth, the All-American Rejects.
Oh, it wasn't that long ago, your youth.
Well, I'm just saying, it's starting to be longer ago. For me, anyway. It was like 2006. Fifth grade, I had to move along CD. If I'm saying I owned a CD, it was a pretty long time ago. Okay, it was in my Walkman.
That's okay.
You had
a Walkman, a Discman.
A Discman,
right?
if you will. Yes,
okay.
and then I put it on my Zune. Remember those?
He's really dating himself now. No, we're too old to know what that was.
Yeah, New Kids on the Block were popular when I was in 5th grade, so there you go.
Donnie Wahlberg.
Oh, yeah.
Donnie
Right?
Wahlberg.
Isn't that one?
Yeah.
I knew it. Hey, welcome to Denver 7. I'm Danny Dew.
Yeah, and we are super excited for summer. Whether you're in Fort Collins, down here, yeah.
Well, you stay excited
Anywhere.
for one more day, and then tomorrow you're not going to be quite as excited. It's going to change here in the next 24 hours. It is a Denver 7 weather action day due to the change. Now at just about 6:02, look at how mild it is. Stepping out the door right now to mainly 40s in some neighborhoods. We have out at the airport 44, Commerce City 42. A touch cooler above freezing there up and through the foothills, but 41 in Golden this morning. So it is sweatshirt weather for the kiddos this morning. We're going to be in the mid 60s by the time they get home today. Highs will be right around 65 to near 70, depending on the neighborhood, under a little mix of sun and clouds. So a beautiful day. I sat on a patio yesterday with my little one and we read a book. It was beautiful. It was so nice, very spring-like. Highlands Ranch 68 today. 40s to upper 30s for the mountains. Now the change is going to arrive later today in the high country and then spread east over the next few hours. In fact, by early tomorrow morning, take a look at Futurecast. It looks a lot different than it does right now. Snow moving in. A lot to talk about with the storm, how much we're expecting and how much colder it's going to get, plus how windy it's going to be, Katie. All that coming up in just a few minutes.
Ooh, all right, winter is still upon us. Here's a look for you right now at Idaho Springs on I-70. Dry roads currently, but be prepared for changing conditions later on, as Lisa was talking about. Let me take you to the metro area where we are starting to see a little bit more traffic pick up. It's that time of the morning at 6:03 where volume is starting to pick up in usual areas. I-25 and I-70 right now. Let me take you to the map currently, because you can see no major crashes or problems to tell you about, but 270 starting to be a little bit touch and go. I-76 the slowest spot right now. I-70 east and westbound out to Pena Boulevard pretty wide open and no problems heading out to the airport. The train to the plane is running on time. Pena Boulevard's at speeds above average. You can see 225 past Parker Road, no problems as well. If you are heading to and from Colorado's high country though, be prepared for some chain and traction laws later on and also that winter driving weather arriving.
Well, a week from today, we will remember the victims from the mass shooting at the Table Mesa King Soopers. It's going to be 2 years since we lost 10 lives. Far too soon.
Some, of course, were just shopping for groceries, others working there, beloved employees, and one of them, police officer Eric Talley, ran in to stop the shooter and lost his life. The city says they will all be honored at a remembrance ceremony at E-Town Hall on Spruce Street from 5:30 to 6:30 on the anniversary next week. Meanwhile, the case against the suspected shooter still has not gone to trial. He's been declared incompetent multiple times.
Attorney and Denver 7 reporter Jessica Crawford joins us live from Boulder. Jessica, a new order from the judge could complicate the process going forward?
Well, it could, and yes, I am standing at the King Soopers here in Boulder, where 10 people did lose their lives nearly 2 years ago. And yeah, we are still waiting to go to trial at this point. Attorneys are going back and forth over whether the alleged shooter is actually competent to stand trial. So in their latest clash, prosecutors requested to bring in their own expert to do a psychological evaluation on Ahmad Al Aliwi Alissa. And this comes after he was found incompetent to stand trial multiple times. Competency involves being able to understand the proceedings and play a role in one's own defense. Well, prosecutors are starting to suspect that Alissa may be purposely delaying trial. The court ruled that only the Colorado Mental Health Institute at Pueblo can evaluate and treat Alissa, and that prosecutors can't speed things up by hiring their own expert to evaluate him. Now, keep in mind that being incompetent to stand trial is not a defense to the crime, and that if competency is restored, the defendant can proceed to trial. The judge did tell prosecutors that they can request a restoration hearing, and in that type of hearing, the court will determine whether or not the defendant's competency has been restored well enough for them to go ahead and go to trial. Now, the court is asking for prosecutors to submit a brief about that by Monday, March 20th. Live from Boulder, I'm Jessica Crawford, Denver 7.
All right. We, of course, will be following that. Jessica, thank you. We also told you yesterday the son of one of the victims, Suzanne Fountain, is now suing Ruger, the maker of the gun used in the attack. I spoke with his attorney, and this is important for any other families hoping to join this lawsuit. There is a statute of limitations, 2 years from the shooting, which, of course, is next Wednesday. The lawsuit is not seeking a specific dollar amount, but it's worth noting the Sandy Hook families used the same law to settle with Remington for $73 million.
Is a settlement often a positive result for families? Would you say, is this what they would like to see?
Yeah, so I mean, like any case, my job is to represent the families and my clients, and we want closure for them and for the community. And certainly, avoiding a lengthy trial that brings these wounds to the forefront and forces them to relive what is likely to be the worst day of their lives is something that we'd prefer.
So families interested in joining the lawsuit can contact Connecticut trial firm there based in Connecticut, where Ruger is also based.
Utility companies met with lawmakers at the state capitol to discuss ways to bring down the costs of our utility bills. I'm listening. Officials from Xcel and Black Hills Energy testified in front of the Joint Select Committee. Xcel Energy said the majority of profits are going to infrastructure investments in the state of Colorado, not company investments. And Xcel also proposed new options to help customers falling behind on payments.
Looking at opportunities to help our disproportionately impacted customers that are more than 60 days in arrears, to have them automatically enrolled in an alternative rates rate class.
The committee's next meeting is scheduled for Monday. We'll keep you posted. Well, Contact Denver 7 is getting results on one of the top complaints that's been flooding our inbox. People who pay to park downtown but still get a ticket in the mail anyway. The city of Denver tracks the number of private parking complaints called into 311, and we found in the last 3 years that the number has exploded. It was 4 in 2020. Last year, 89. People like Jim Moody, he parked at the lot across from the Performing Arts Center, expecting to pay the amount that he saw posted. $25 is what the evening rate said on the giant sign, but instead the app charged him $35 and later notified that it had expired at 8 p.m. and a few days later he got an $82 ticket in the mail.
What do you think people who are parking downtown need to know?
There's no way I'm parking there again. I don't really know what the terms of the deal are. I don't know how to find out what the terms of the deal are. I realize it's, buyer beware, but I mean, I really feel that this is taking it a step too far.
So we reached out to the City of Denver and Parking Revenue Recovery Services. Both tell us that there was a discrepancy between the app and the sign that has since been addressed, so Moody's ticket has been voided. Yay. Meanwhile, the city is looking into new policies to increase transparency on those signs that we follow. And we're going to keep following to see what actions Denver's going to take.
The Jeffco Public School District is now in the process of leasing or selling 2 old school buildings. Zerger Elementary in Westminster closed about 10 years ago. Allendale Elementary in Arvada closed 2 years ago. Now, of course, recently we have been reporting a lot on the 16 schools in Jeffco that will close at the end of this academic year. So I asked the district what's going to happen to those buildings and if they'll just be sitting there.
It was difficult to close these buildings, and it's also difficult, I think, for communities to think about having empty, unoperating school buildings in their neighborhoods. And we are very attuned to that. And we want to make sure that our buildings, are lift up for our community. I want to assure the community, like, we are dedicated to continuing to maintain our facilities, like the grounds.
And the district will likely start talking about the future of those buildings next school year.
Aurora Public Schools is working on repurposing 2 of its closed schools, Parrish and Saba Elementary. Most of the proposals are for community services, social services, and charter schools. The proposal groups are being asked to present their ideas to the community next week. There are community meetings planned at Sable, Paris, and North Middle School, and you can get more info on Aurora's school website. Hey, A Taste of Fort Collins is back this summer at Wash Park, and we are learning the performers who will headline the two-day festival. The All-American Rejects, who sing "I'll Keep You My Dirty Little Secret." Remember that one? Yeah, they'll be on June 10th. The rock band previously performed after Tour de Fat back in 2017. And then rapper Little John, who I will not try to impersonate, will perform on Sunday, June 11th. It is his first concert in northern Colorado. Whoa, big day. The rest of the festival's music lineup has not been announced yet. Weekend passes are $22 and give you access to both days. Single day passes are $15. You can buy them on tasteoffortcollins.com. I know that my wife-to-be had a huge crush on Tyson Ritter, the lead singer of All American Rejects growing up, so this is going to be something she's going to want to go to. Okay, coming up, hey, a special deal this weekend to add a furry friend to your home, but it's just for one particular breed.
And who doesn't love a good book? Lisa and I and some of our other Denver 7 co-anchors are out at the book fair helping kids choose a good book. We'll tell you where all of these books came from.